So we move on to game 2 of the second round of Swiss. Again, myself there on the right playing Weyland, and Ryan on the left playing Kate. So again, he took the first round. I lost my runner game, which is always going to put you in somewhat of a mind dungeon. There's no getting away from it. I'm already now 2-1 down over the course of the tournament. There's going to be 4 rounds of Swiss, this we know, but I've got it all to do, and I know I've got it all to do. Unfortunately, the final point is I'm not overly confident in this Weyland deck. We both took a mulligan. As I've already stated in the previous round, this deck runs a lot of 3-pointers, and I don't really want to have to mulligan, just in case it gets a little bit unpleasant, which in a couple of occasions it does. So I will draw, see a hedge fund, which is exactly what you want to see there, so a little bit of luck. So I'll install the Chimera over HQ, it looks like. Not quite sure what's going down there over R&D, but I'm sure we'll find out. And final click, hedge fund. So that's pretty much the dream opening, it has to be said. Ice, ice, and hedge fund, particularly as Weyland. So he'll run R&D and see a shadow. So I'm trying to set up the tag and bag. He'll let me have 2. And then it's a question of, do I bump the trace? Do I want to make him skint? Do I want the tag to hit? Do I want to pay him, make him pay for it? Obviously he has the link, because he's playing Kate, which he points out. So I think I bump it up by the 2 that he's just given me. He runs and scores government contracts. Yeah, at that kind of point you just kind of despair as to the nature of life. He clears the tag, and sorry, I think either he pays for it or clears the tags. Sure gamble, professional contacts, final click, and I'm 3 points down. So yes, indeed, what I was saying about 3-pointers is very much the case. I know I've got issues now. Beanstalk, I restructure, so money's no longer an issue, but I need to solidify R&D. Looks like I have the Hadrian's Wall there in hand, which I put over the shadow. But I've got issues now. There's no getting away from it. Already being 3 points down is a real problem. So first click he'll draw professional contacts. Second click he'll draw professional contacts. Ugh, 1 access, 3 points. This is why I hate 3-pointers, and this deck becomes a real thorn in my side, and certainly not one I'm planning on running again. So I will not res because there's nothing in hand I have to worry about. He sees the extra shadow, I think it is, and accesses it. So no point resing the Chimera at this stage. And again he'll professional contacts again. I think I'll just take 1 there. He's quite happy with the cards he has. So on mandatory draw, first click draw, second click draw, see a Project Atlas by the looks of it. And having a bit of a ponder as to the third click, I think I'm going to set up the remote. Yep, so I install, I think, the ice wall there. Over and set up the extra remote server, ready to hopefully score the Project Atlas, maybe even overscore it. So first click he will do that. Second click I will res the Chimera, because at this point I've now got agendas in hand, and stick it in as a code gate, which is generally my go-to. He will then run on R&D. I'm debating whether to res the Hadrians. It leaves me in a real economic. It gives me real economic issues if I choose to do that. How likely is he to top deck another 3-pointer? That's the question. So I choose not to res the Hadrian's Wall. He lets me have the 2 credits with Shadow again, or well, I doesn't have a choice, rather, I should say. And then it's a question of how he's only on the 3rd click. If he's on 4th click, I would probably stick the tag down and, at the very least, trash his professional contacts. But I put another 2 into it. I think he chooses to not take the tag, so he'll pay to get past it, and he'll access. And he'll score. Oh no, sorry, he won't. I think he's sorry. He'll take a look at the punitive counter-strike that's on top of R&D, which, to be truthful, is fairly pointless now. Now he's already scored the 3-point agenda. It makes punitive counter-strike that much worse. He clone chips and then passes the turn over. Punitive is only good if the runner hasn't scored the agendas you need. And as he already has scored the agenda, it's a real problem. So I'll install Advance, which I'm almost certain there is the Atlas. Could be a 3-pointer, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's the Atlas though. He will run first click on that remote, which I will then res an Enigma. Exactly what you want to see. So he'll lose his second click as well. So with only 3 credits, he doesn't have any means of getting through that. So that's a bit of a relief. And that is the joy of Enigma. It means that they have much less time to actually go in and steal that agenda. It's not great against criminal, obviously, with inside jobs, but against everyone else it's fine. So third click he will run R&D, and he obviously give him my 2, and then it's a question of how much do I boost the trace by? Do I want to give him a tag? He's very careful not to do it on 4th click, obviously. He's not daft. He understands that a 4th click will leave him wide open to Scorched Earths. He's got 4 or 5 cards in hand. So he'll run and sees nothing. Of which I'm quietly glad. Looks like he has an R&D interface in hand as well, so he can really start putting the pressure on if he so chooses. So he uses professional contacts there to draw up. And it's over to me. He has to discard. Not quite sure why he's putting them face down. There we go. So he's discarded the Deus Ex. This deck does have snares in, believe it or not. So I will... Oh, no, sorry, I score a cleaners. So it was a 3-point agenda, and now all my meat damage does an extra 1 point of meat damage. So actually Punitive's very much back on the table. Scorch become 5 points each, which is huge. So if he has 1 Plascrete down, double Scorch will still kill him stone dead. So double Scorched is now the win condition. It's got to be the win condition. So he runs through on R&D, give me my 2 credits. I don't have the money obviously to res the Hadrians at that point. I'm choosing again how badly I want to put the tag on him. He'll run and sees nothing. HQ is still a problem. I need some money to be able to res that Hadrians reliably, because again with 3 pointers in the deck, the last thing you want for them is to top deck a game-winning agenda. If he scores another 3-pointer, that's a real problem. So I will install, res, and draw 2 Jackson, seeing another Hadrians, another Punitive. So I've got 2 Punitives in hand. If he does steal a 3-pointer at this point, that'll be the game, because I can churn out 8 points of meat damage effectively. That is not insignificant. So I'll draw again with Jackson. I think at this stage I'm probably looking to ditch agendas and go for a meat damage win. I'll keep the Atlas. I think probably the better play here would be to try and secure a remote server and use it to overscore an Atlas, find the Scorched that I need. He runs the remote, there's nothing in there. I didn't leave any agendas in hand, in archives. So he will professional contact, second click. He will run HQ. I want to protect the Atlas, so I will give some thought anyway. Give some thoughts to whether I want to res the Chimera, whether I want to keep money in hand. I have a restructure in hand, and if I res the Chimera, I have no means of using it. That's a gain of 6 credits for me, but I decide it's not worth the risk with him already on 3 points, and res the Chimera as a code gate. He obviously doesn't have the money to go and fetch anything with self-modifying code. So a bit of a kicker, because it does mean that it slows me down significantly the next turn, but I really didn't want to run the risk of him taking him up to 5 points. That's not what I needed at this stage. So he professional contacts again. And discards a Crypsis. And a Scavenge. So a mandatory draw. It looks like I've got a Beanstalk, which is absolutely perfect there. I'll draw 2 a Jackson first of all. Drawing up a Snare and another Jackson. So I'll Beanstalk, second click, gaining me 4. And then final click I'll Restructure, gaining me 6. Plenty of money. Good bits of economy. I can now res that Hadrian's without any problems. And I've got a lot of cash. All I need, in a way, I kind of want him to score a 3-point agenda at this stage. If he scores a 3-point agenda, he dies. He's only on 3 credits, plus there's 1 link. Puts down the Atman at 0. And professional contacts. He has seen the punitive counter-strikes off the top of R&D, so he has to be aware of that. And obviously with the cleaners scored, they've become that much worse. Even if he scores a 2-pointer now, I can still churn out 6 points of meat damage. And without a Plascrete down, that'll be game-winning. And again, these are things that are easy to look back on. Again, perhaps in retrospect, it would have been better for me to have just gone stuff it and let him try to score the agenda in hand. It's difficult. Again, here I'm drawing up aggressively for Sea Source and Scorched, because I'm not seeing a huge amount of ice. Seeing a little bit. I've got a Grim there, I think, in hand. I'm going to be 100% truthful with you here, guys. I don't think I'm playing very well here, as I'm sure you probably will agree. I have much better plays available to me. Overscoring the Atlas is a better play here. I have the means to install perhaps a Grim over another piece of ice, overscore an Atlas, and then I can use that to go and fetch the Sea Source Scorched. Even just Sea Source Scorched if he's on only on 4 cards. So he will run archives, at which point I will Jackson Howard back in the agenda, the snare, and the other agenda, I think. I'm not actually, maybe there's not another agenda in there. I could be wrong. Yeah, there is. Yeah, so there we go, I spotted it. So I'll let him have a look at the rest. So yeah, there are 2 snares in the deck, you never see them, but they are there, I promise. Last tournament, couldn't stop them from hitting people, but this tournament, not quite as much. I think he mistakenly believed there that I handed him archives instead of R&D. So thankfully he didn't actually look at anything in R&D there. But yeah, so I had him archives for him to have a look at, so you can see what I've discarded. And I just think, again here, scoring the cleaners in many respects set me back, because I got tunnel vision, and I started looking at the game the wrong way, rather than looking just to score the Atlas, or to let him steal. Let him actually score an agenda, because with double punitive and no Plascrete down, I'm laughing. Just did not play this game right at all, which is unfortunate, I have to say. He's playing cautiously, and I think he's just drawn up the Plascrete there. Or maybe not. So he just draws up, discards the Scavenge. Got a Data Sucker on the board now as well, which causes me problems. And also with an Atman at 0 and a Data Sucker, that's a nasty old mix. So I mean, he's drawing up aggressively for his Plascrete. I should be trying to get the win here. And again, if I'd scored that Atlas, I could have had this sewn up long ago. Just needed to overscore it twice, really. We'll just let him steal an agenda. Let him have it. So I install. I think I've got the sea source in hand as well. Ah! You look back on your own games and you suddenly realise that there's just so much more you could do. So I install Advance. And again, I'm pretty sure that's the Atlas. And again, I think I have cottoned on to the fact here that if he steals it, it's not the end of the world. Because if he steals it, then I can double punitive him. I can double punitive counter-strike, and I can win the match. Because I can do 6 points of meat damage and win. I've got enough money to be able to do that. So he runs, he breaks for 2. He steals the Atlas. So he's on. That was click 2, and he draws up, and he top decks. I'm almost sure there he top decks the Plascrete he needs to survive. Heartbreak high. But alas, such is life. So again, I was kind of going out on a limb there. I knew I could have the win because I had double punitive in hand. If he steals it, I can do the 3 points of meat damage, the 6 points of meat damage I need to win the match, and he's got no way of beating the traces, and so it would have been game over. But now the punitives are absolute waste of space. So yeah, it's a problem. The punitives are now completely dead to me. The neural EMP doesn't tip me over the edge, and I can't do anything about them. I can burn through the which I do. So here I burn through the Plascrete in the hope that I can find the Scorched Earths that have been eluding me thus far. So I put that in. He obviously can't beat the trace. So it'll do 3 points of meat damage. So he chooses to take that off the Plascrete first, which is fine. Then do it again.
Your kit deck's very good against emblem making use decks.
And so he's down to 3 cards, and I draw. It's again another question here of I can burn through the Plascrete, make him less secure, but I cannot find the game-winning meat damage that I need at this point. But still, Scorched is very much on the cards. The punitives weren't going to do me any good anyway at this point because he'd already stolen 5 points worth of agendas. So the next agenda he's almost certainly going to win. So I don't want to do that. So he's going to draw back up again with Professional Contacts, gaining tempo as he goes. Certainly inconvenient. Not the card you want to see. And he's going to just keep going and keep doing it. So Professional Contacts again. Pretty much a whole turn spent drawing up. So he's back up to 5 cards. That's him back to 6 cards. That's the discard one. Just discards the Fem. And a Magnum Opus. And to draw. So I haven't seen a single Scorched yet, even despite having 3 in the deck. I've got the Sea Source in hand. Hedge Fund, first click. Restructure, second click. And again, I'm just thinking all I've got to do is see one Scorched Earth, and I've got a neural EMP. So 1 Scorched Earth and a neural EMP, and that's it. It's game over. I can beat the I can absolutely get the trace I need off on him to get the tag, and I cannot pull a Scorched Earth to save my life. But I've got a neural EMP, I've got a Sea Source, I just need one copy of Scorched Earth here, and I can win the match. Can I see it? No. And obviously it's 5 points to 3, so it's a real problem. I've got to keep him out now, I don't have a choice, so I'll res the Hadrians as he runs on HQ. I don't have a choice there. If I don't keep him out, then he can just top deck a 3-point agenda and win the game. I have a quick think about whether I actually want to res it or not, and I do. So I res that for 2 as a code gate. I think I made a massive error there because obviously he can break it for 1 with the Atman. I completely forgot that the Atman was in at 0 strength, so he gets to access. Big error there. and he sees nothing. And gains the data sucker token. So yeah, a bit of an error there. Completely forgot about the Chimera, and all I've done really is advertise the fact that I'm probably having an agenda in hand. Not good. So professional contacts. Professional contacts. One copy of Scorched. That's all I need. One copy of Scorched. No! I see the snare. Yeah, that's great. So again, that would have been perfect. If I hadn't arrested the Hadrians and he hit the snare, it would have been a whole other ball game. So first click draw, second click draw, third click draw. No Scorched Earth, just pieces of ice. Not what you want to see. Even a Jackson at this stage would have been better because I could have drawn up faster and gotten what I needed. Discard all the ice. At this point, I don't care about it. I'm keeping the snare in hand just in case he runs through on HQ again. But I mean, economically now he's getting into a much stronger position, so he would be able to beat my trace on the sea source. I actually won't have the money to be able to scorch him. 3 copies of Scorched Earth, and I haven't seen a single one yet. And I have drawn up pretty aggressively as this game's gone on. Such is life. I certainly haven't discarded any. And that's it. That's the game. He steals the last agenda I had in hand. And there's all the Scorched there. So there was one right on top of the deck. That's typical, so I would have been a mandatory draw next turn. But as it was, didn't see it when I needed it. And despite burning through his Plascrete, he was able to top deck the only agenda in my hand and take the win. So I felt a little bit unfortunate here, a little bit unlucky, but as it is, I end up with a 2-0 loss and in a bit of a mind dungeon onto the next game.